Is it clear? Arya Jushtam. The word Arya means that man who is a Shrestha. We have got a theory which says that Aryas have invaded the country. As far as I know, Aryas are those people who always want not merely to live in this world, but to know what is life in reality. They want to know the constituents of life, the content of life, the goal and purpose of life, the means of achieving that goal. They are not satisfied if they merely live, get married, make houses, have children and grandchildren. They want to know, have I done the right thing? Have I lived the right way? So anybody who lives with truthful introspection is called an Arya. Am I clear? The truthful introspection is what distinguishes an Arya from the entire rest. There were Aryas in our country always. In the dramas and other dialogues written by great Sanskrit scholars like Kalidasa, etc., you will find the queen addresses the king as Aryaputra. Have you heard? Aryaputra. They don't say husband. Aryaputra. I would also like you to address each other in this manner. Tell your child that you should be an Aryaputra. Tell the father also you should be an Aryapita. The Shreshtada, the elegance, the dignity, the magnificence that becomes of a human being. That human dignity. Will the human dignity allow you to crumble on an occasion like war like this? In an army, in the fighting front, can we think of sympathy, etc.? Was the war unexpected? Was the presence of Bhishma and Drona also unexpected? So he was questioning, Kutastva kashmalamidam vishame samupastidam. From where have you manufactured this sympathy? Why did you lend yourself to this sympathetic note? Anarya Jushtam. This is not adored by the noble. Aswargyam. This will not lead you to heaven. Agirtikaram. This will make you infamous, not famous. These three were the evaluations. You tell me now. If necessary, closing your eyes. I shall also close if you want. These three evaluations provided by Krishna, were they not from the intelligence to the intelligence? No. Was it an emotional display or was it a rational, thoughtful response? Arjuna also saw, he also knew that Bhishma and Drona were grandfather and preceptor. By all human standards, it would have been very wrong. But Krishna, at a much younger age, he had to contend his own uncle. He did it. Arjuna is failing to do. So even in such a state of crumbling, wherein lies the solution and redress, my dear souls? No answer. To generate the necessary sense of propriety, to generate the necessary inner force, inner realism, inner magnificence or inner strength, whereby the emotional wave will be subdued, will be overcome, and only intelligence can do it. So, Krishna elevated the inner plight of Arjuna from the mere emotional level to the rational and inquiring, thoughtful level. Is it possible or not? Anarya Jushtam Aswargyam Agirtikaram Arjuna. And you know the medicine he administered is this. Klaibyam asmagamah partha naidatvai upapadyade kshudram hridayadaurbalyam tyaktvottishta parantapa. My dear souls, this was the highly powerful dose, an injection which he gave. But it was not with a syringe and pricking, a vein, an injection. Klaibyam asmagamah partha. This kind of a weakness, imbecility, unmanliness, never be a prey to it. So he described that it was not sympathy. On the other hand, it was inner, innate weakness. As a fighter, can weakness be permitted? When you understand it to be a weakness, it becomes impermissible. When you understand it and stamp it as sympathy, it becomes adorable. So where is the adorability remaining and where is the dismissibility also reigning? Not clear. When you regard it as a sympathy, it becomes adorable. When you understand it, assess it to be weakness, it becomes detestable. It should be dismissed. So he says, Klaibyam masmagamah partha. Do not undergo this kind of an unmanliness or weakness. Naidatvai upapadyade. It does not behove you. It's not an ornament. It is not a good crown. Out of all the 5 people, certainly so far as you are concerned, it does not behove you at all. How valorous a fighter you are, and with how much of preparedness you underwent the forest incognito life. How well you performed the Pashupadastra austerity. Did you not beat at the chest of Mahadeva and he rewarded you with Pashupadastra? Such a great valorous person, after having prepared for 13 years, he comes to the battlefield and then he says, I am unable to fight, I don't want to fight. Is there any harmony between the two? Who will examine it? The intelligence alone will examine. So he raised the emotional Arjuna to the rational intelligence enquiring and appraisemental level. Kshudram hridaya daurbalyam. Are you following me? You know, I am seeing a tremendous inspiration in the whole scene. Kshudram, trifling. Hridaya daurbalyam, the weakness of the heart. This is a weakness of the heart. This is a durbalata. It is trifling. Tyaktvottishta parantapa. Casting it aside, abandoning it. Rise, my Arjuna. Bas, ho gaya. Ho gaya. Tell me whether the human personality has got sufficient inner potential whereby an emotional plight can be overcome by a proper rational deliberation. Yes or no? This is what I want. This is what I want from every one of you. Look into Ramayana, look into Mahabharata, look into Srimad Bhagavata. I only find there mento intelligential excellence, 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 excellence. Through words, through poetry, through sentences, through episodes, through events, through narration, through exposure. They are only trying to build up your inner personality. It tries to refine and reform your emotions. It raises you from constrictions and narrowness. What is the breadth of your mind? I and my family. Bas. I can think only about myself and my family, consisting of whom father and mother chala gaya. Even if they are alive, I don't permit them, my wife will not allow. So myself, my wife and 2 children, itna hi hai. But like that, so many other families are there. They also have children. So having become a family man, should your mind reflect all the families in this world or it should reflect only you? Koi answer nahi hai. Dekh lijiye na. See, when you become married, you should understand so many people have married. All couples are like me when I have children. All people are like my children. In this way you should think. So an expansion should take place. But actually by family life, is expansion taking place or constriction strengthening? Thoda boliye na, chup rehte hain. See, actually life is very good and beautiful. Very good and beautiful. It is enriching at every point. Marriage is a great ennobling means. And parenthood all the more so. A parental heart should be much more melting than a youthful heart. But do we have such expansions? Only 3 people say. I would like you to say at least, Baba, I am not going to sue you for it. At least I have the satisfaction that my audience is sincere. You know, these expansions should take place, but it's not taking place. He has fought a number of wars. With all the credit and glory, he comes to the Mahabharata war. And the sight of Bhishma and Drona suddenly unsettles him. Is it right or not? Kshudram hridaya daurbalyam tyaktvottishta parantapa. Arjuna suddenly heeds Krishna. The beautiful part is that the crying and sobbing Arjuna, when he heard this kind of an admonition, this kind of an evaluation from Krishna, from Krishna's intelligence, communicated to Arjuna's intelligence, when that Buddhi Yoga, the conjunction of the two intellects took place, suddenly the benefits trickled into the mind. And the agitated mind started becoming peaceful. Instantly he started thinking. Arjuna reflects, oh, it is not sympathy, but it is weakness. This is not adorable to anybody, any noble people. It will not lead me to heaven. Nobody will adore me also by this. It is trifling. So I cast it aside. He started thinking and reviving. But still, Arjuna's mind was not very clear. There was ambiguity. There was still lingering misjudgment. There is confusion. So he started speaking to Krishna in a very cogent manner, but not completely. I would like you to understand this graduated ascent of Arjuna's mind. Am I clear? Katham bhishmamaham sanghe dronam cha madhusudana ishubhih pradiyosyami pujarha varisudana. Krishna, I will never say anything more in terms of sympathy towards all the relations who are assembled here. You have stationed the chariot right in front of Bhishma and Drona. They are immensely respectable, adorable. The moment I see them, I should fall at their feet and ask for their blessings. Such worshipable teachers, how can I fight? How can I fight? It is impermissible. It is not permissible. What you say, I agree, but I have a difficulty. I have a crisis. So he analyzes the crisis. Guru nahatva hi mahanubhavan shreyo bhoktum bhaikshyamapi haloke hatva kamamstu guru nihaiva bhunjiya bhogan rudira pradigdhan. Are you happy to hear this? So he says, Gurun ahatva. These people are great souls. Instead of killing them, I should spare them. I will not pick up a fight. It is better to become a mendicant and go on begging for my livelihood food. Hatva arthakamamstu guru nihaiva. Suppose we fight this war. There are three purusharthas: dharma, artha, kama and moksha. The first is dharma, the last is moksha. Both of them I will have abandoned, and only artha and kama will be there. In whatever we get in the form of a kingdom and endowments, only artha kamas will be displayed. And all of them will be stained by the blood of this war, including that blood of my teacher and grandfather. Is it worth eating? Are you following me? Bhagavad Gita is a magnificent text. You should understand it, read it. Na chaidad vidmah kadaranno gariyo yadva jayema yadiva no jayeyuhu yaneva hitva na jijivishamaha tevasthidah pramukhe dhartarashtra. I am prepared to kill all people, including my cousin brothers. But when it comes to the question of gurus, how can I do it? Then can you not somehow manage the war, manage your skill in such a manner that you will kill all the army people, sparing Bhishma and Drona, when they finally survive, fall at their feet? Is it possible? No, because they are standing as commanders in chief. Without confronting them, I cannot penetrate into the army. If I leave them, they will run after me and hit me. So that is not possible. So he thought this way and that way. What are we discussing? Life's success and fulfillment. For a moment, Arjuna is prepared to fight. But he is confronted by his own intelligence, confronted by his own inner rationality. So in order to live successfully, where from should you get the inspiration and sanction? From within your own mind and your own intelligence. Now this is what Arjuna is finding. After hearing Krishna's words, even now he is not in a position to go ahead with the war. So he says, Karpanyadoshopahatah svabhavah.
Arpanyadoshopahatah svabhavah.
Keeping this verse in mind, this is our plight. What is hindering success? What is hindering fulfillment? It is karpanya dosha. Karpanya dosha. Karpanya dosha. Simply speaking, it is narrow-mindedness, constriction, psychological constriction. It is what prevents us from attaining success and fulfillment in life. Nothing else. Karpanya doshopahatah svabhavah.
Karpanyadoshopahatah svabhavah.
Pruchhami tvam dharma sammudha-chetah.
Pruchhami tvam dharma sammudha-chetah.
Yat shreyasyad
Yat shreyasyat
nishchitam bruhi tanme.
Nishchitam bruhi tanme.
Shishyasteham
Shishyasteham
shadhimam tvam prapannam.
Shadhimam tvam prapannam.
My dear listeners, please be very sure about it. If you want to be successful and fulfilling in your life, you must discover and identify the narrowness of your inner personality. Identify it properly and see that it is resolved, dissolved. You have the necessary expanse, the necessary clarity, the necessary resolve, the necessary elevation, enlightenment. Karpanya doshopahatah svabhavah. My nature has been overpowered by karpanya dosha, the evil of narrow-mindedness, distortion. Therefore, I ask you, dharma sammudha-chetah. I am not able to find out what way to go. But I am very clear. Yat shreyasyan nishchitam bruhi tanme. By which can I have shreyas? Shreyas. Shreyas means what? Everlasting contentment, everlasting fulfillment, characterized by goodness. Shreyas means that, don't think that it is something to be attained after the fall of the body. Prayas is sensory and creature comforts. Shreyas means inner and elevational contentment. That inner contentment which will endure, which will last, which will not be tormented or afflicted by anything. Yat shreyasyan nishchitam bruhi tanme. I have cast aside my sympathy. I have suspended my lamentation. I have no grief. I have no agitation. I am now a full-fledged inquirer. And I ask you to tell me very clearly, wherein lies my inner incessant delight and fulfillment. I want to know. And I am going to fight this war fulfillingly, successfully, gloriously, exemplarily, in an unparalleled manner. In order to enable me to do this, please instruct me on Yat shreyasyan nishchitam bruhi tanme shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. I humbly admit I am not a valorous fighter till your instruction is over. So I am a humble disciple of yours. I anoint you as my teacher. Please instruct me as a teacher would a disciple. Now this is before the war. If Arjuna had to be successful and his life had to be fulfilled, the Mahabharata war had to be fought. He found he was unable to do it. And the only reason is not the absence of army, not the followers, nothing, no lack of weapons. The only factor was inner insufficiency. A psychological insufficiency, an intelligential incompleteness. This is what you want. And whatever is exposing you to this called subject knowledge, have an ample measure of this subject knowledge about the subject dimensions and the subject potentials of your personality. Initially understand the conflicts and the disharmony. Try to understand the secret of setting them right and become full, confident, contented, and live in a contented manner. This is the secret of successful and fulfilling life. So what is the one qualification, quality, merit or virtue we have to instill into ourselves in order to attain not merely success and fulfillment of life, the supreme possible? Only one word, asakta. This is a quality that we have to bring about. How can the mind be made asakta? Is it an important question? That is why all this spiritual wisdom is provided. Arjuna became an asakta at the end of the conversation, the dialogue he had with Krishna. The Bhagavad Gita dialogue consists of 700 verses. The first one is an enquiry from Dhritarashtra. All the other verses pertain to whatever transpired there. The actual words spoken by Krishna will be a little less because Sanjaya also has been speaking there. So you will find that the entire conversation was necessary in order to bring about the quality in the mind of Arjuna, the quality named asaktada. The quality namely asaktada. So you may be wondering as to why you are listening to these talks. My answer is only by this exposure. And whatever is exposed, by receiving it, by reception, following that manana or reflection, rumination, as a result of which whatever you have heard will be assimilated. This is what we want. So don't think that the mind will get transformed all in an instant. It is not possible. Even in the case of Arjuna, Arjuna was initially exposed. Instantly he comes up with a question. And how beautiful a question, a submission, a confession he makes. In the same manner, all of you listening to these talks must also be able to make a similar confession. Now our subject is how to find success and fulfillment of life. Success and fulfillment, the words taken together, when you are successful, you are also fulfilled. When you are fulfilled, you will have to be successful. That is why we have put the singular verb there. Where lies success and fulfillment? It appears to be two words, but in reality they mean the same thing. The entire success, effectiveness of life leading to fulfillment, the one cause of it is removal of karpanya dosha. This one word you must always have. All our troubles and torments in our life are simply due to karpanya dosha. Dosha means a defect or an evil. Karpanya means, to put it in a simple manner, narrow-mindedness. Our mind is remaining constricted, it is narrow. It has to become broad to comprehend whatever life situations are there possible in our life, whatever confrontations can possibly be there, whatever distress can be there, whether they are objective or subjective, mind-born or intelligence-born or senses-born. These constrictions will have to be removed, and we must have a breadth, an expansion, a kind of an all-inclusive, comprehensive dimension. Now this is something to be imbibed, and it can be imbibed only with the help of intelligence. And what will the intelligence get for the purpose? More and more of knowledge. What kind of a knowledge? Subject knowledge. So the word karpanya dosha is the beginning point of Bhagavad Gita. I will recite this verse. Karpanya dosho bahata.
Karpanya dosho pahata.
The response is very poor. अच्छा नहीं लगता है मुझे. कार्पण्य दोषो बहत.
कार्पण्य दोषो बहत.
स्वभावः.
स्वभावः.
कार्पण्य दोषो बहत स्वभावः.
कार्पण्य दोषो बहत स्वभावः.
पृच्छामि त्वाम्.
पृच्छामि त्वाम्.
धर्म सम्मूढचेताः.
धर्म सम्मूढचेताः.
पृच्छामि त्वाम्.
पृच्छामि त्वाम्.
धर्म सम्मूढ.
धर्म सम्मूढ.
चेताः.
चेताः
यच्छ्रेयः
यच्छ्रेयः
स्याद्
स्यात्
निश्चितं ब्रूहि
निश्चितं ब्रूहि
तन्मे
तन्मे
शिष्यस्तेऽहम्
शिष्यस्तेऽहम्
शाधिमाम्
शाधिमाम्
त्वां प्रपन्नम्
त्वां प्रपन्नम्
शिष्यस्तेऽहम्
शिष्यस्तेऽहम्
शाधिमाम्
शाधिमाम्
त्वां प्रपन्नम्.
त्वां प्रपन्नम्.
See, this is a beautiful verse. Devotees generally feel very much enthralled, inspired, especially with the last line. Shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prabannam.